All right, we are live on air. This is Michael Emery. I'm here with Sarah Bagby today, and we're going to be talking about Kyani solutions. And if you're familiar with my YouTube channel, you'll most likely know that my biggest niche, or the thing that I do the most, is personal development. And so you might be wondering, how does Kyani Nutraceutical play into personal development? And we really want to offer you something that's unique and break through some of those elements that have been preventing your personal growth. And I think the very first way that you can do that is to begin to enhance your nutrition. So Sarah, thank you for being on board here, and she's going to grill me and play devil's advocate, and also just serve as the host in many ways. So.
Ooh, thanks for giving me that kind of power here, Michael. So yeah, I am curious about the system. I know very little about it. What I have experienced has been only positive. What's interesting about it is you can take components, but it is a system. So can you just give us an overview of what that system includes?
Sure. Right now we're going to go back to the screen share, and I've got some slides put together here that we can walk through. So Kyani is a complete nutritional spectrum, and the thing that I really appreciate the most about Kyani is that they found a way to address the major foundational elements in all dis-ease and illness. Now, I want to be very clear from the beginning right now. I'm not saying that Kyani is a cure. It is not. Promoting itself, or the company is not saying anything about this being a cure. What it is a whole food source that addresses three important factors, and these factors are nutrition, circulation, and inflammation. And in nearly every single illness out there, you're going to see that these three components are present. And so if a person doesn't have optimal nutrition, they're going to have a certain set of illnesses. If they don't have optimized circulation, they're going to have a different set of illnesses. If there's too much inflammation in the body, which is something that most people aren't really aware of, but we take anti-inflammatories like crazy, especially in the US. If there's too much inflammation in the body, it's going to cause a lot of serious problems. So just to read the quote that one of the science board members on Kyani science team, Dr. Qutab, he says that the Kyani Health Triangle maintains, defends, and repairs every cell in the body. The sum of the three products is more important than one product itself, and that's a very important point. It's a Kyani Health Triangle. Kyani as a company is unique in the industry, and there's no other company that has a triangle of health, or a model like Kyani has, to create global wellness. And what I've seen with Kyani, I'm going to switch back here to the video. What I've seen with Kyani is a powerful solution that addresses these three critical elements that are the foundational part of well-being in almost every single person.
Hey, Michael, let me stop you. So I heard that you said it wasn't so much as a cure, and we get that. But would it be safe to say this is a good preventative source, as far as, whether you're healthy or you suffer from some disease? Would it be a good way to start at any point to prevent disease in the future?
Absolutely. That is the #1 recommendation. And in fact, what we see with Kyani, the company is growing internationally, and it's entered over 50 different countries in the past 7 years. And it's, to me, I think it's really interesting to see that it has grown rapidly in Asia. And there's a philosophical difference in Asia where most, I would say, older generations, and obviously there's still a mix in younger generations, but older generations tend to focus more on preventative medicine. And so they're more interested in solutions that are going to help them experience longevity in the latter years of their life. Now in the West, we want 5-minute cures for everything. We want, like, how to lose 50 pounds in 3 days, and this kind of like ridiculous stuff that's out there. And so we're trying to find like the shiny magic silver bullet here in the West. But if you look to the East, where Kyani is growing extremely quickly in terms of market share, you see a different mindset. And that mindset is certainly, how do you take care of your body today, but also how do you enhance your opportunities for wellness into the future? And that is really something that I believe every person needs to be aware of, because there are certain elements within your life, your mind and your body, that once those begin to experience some form of damage or injury, it becomes more and more difficult to function. And that's how I tie this all back into personal development, is how do you optimize your performance in every area of your life?
Well, so one other thing you would take from the Eastern medicine, I think, is they might put a little more value on quality as well. And I know that this system definitely has an emphasis on that. And so I know that we're going to try to keep these short for everyone. We're going to be doing a series of these so that people can really dive in deep. But still looking at a broad overview, can we take a look at the system? There's 3 parts. So first, I think there's that drink, the Sunrise. Can we start with that, and you tell us kind of what it is?
Sure. So the Kyani system, it has 3 simple products that you take on a daily basis, which makes it extremely easy to use. And this is coming from a person that at any given point in my life, I've always been taking supplements. It was something that I grew up with a mother that was into self-help, home remedies, that kind of thing, and it really played through in my own life. And I saw that if I took extra amounts of vitamin C during the winter months, I didn't get sick. If I took vitamin D, I was sick less often. And I managed to avoid a lot of the common illnesses and stuff that would knock other people out for a week at a time. Sure, I get sick, here and there, but it was only for like a day or two. In using supplements, I noticed that there was some enhancement to my own health. But the thing that I noticed about Kyani Sunrise and the rest of the Kyani Health Triangle was the almost immediate effect. And to make a long story short, I was out of the U.S. for about 6 months a couple years back, and during that time frame, I wasn't able to get the supplements that I was normally taking. And the interesting thing is, I wasn't going through winter months. I was in a tropical area, and I didn't really notice any negative side effects from not taking the supplements. There were certain times where I wish I could have had something to take to prevent dysentery or whatever it might be, but those weren't the typical things I use supplements for. Now, what I noticed when I was taking Kyani, when a buddy of mine, he said, "Here, you got to try this out." I was like, "Okay, I'm sure I'll try pretty much any supplement as long as it seems like it's safe and the ingredients seem solid." The first thing I noticed with the Kyani Sunrise was it almost instantly gave me a pickup, and I noticed some enhanced mental clarity, and that was great because I spend a lot of time working, developing projects, coaching people, and that really requires that I'm on top of my game, that I've got to be able to communicate and think ahead of the people that I'm working with. So I definitely noticed that benefit, and I want to get into the other 2 products, but I also want to share that the Kyani Sunrise, it was one of those things where it was like a slow kind of monumental, almost like rolling a snowball down a mountain. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger as it goes further and further down. It has that kind of compounding and growing effect where I noticed that when I take the Kyani Sunrise in the morning, I've got a tremendous amount of clarity and focus. It's something that definitely helps a lot. But I've also noticed, too, that it helps with blood sugar management, which is extremely important when it comes to weight management. And when you look at Kyani Sunrise, you can see on this graph, you can see the graphic, right?
Yep, it's showing up for everyone right now.
Perfect. So you see this pile of little icons that represent food. And this is what is in a single dose, a 1 ounce serving. It comes in a wine-sized bottle or individual packets that are 1 ounce servings. A single 1 ounce serving has all of the ingredients that you can read in the box to the right. And it's incredible when you think about how much food you'd have to consume in order to get the sort of value, the nutrition value that Sunrise has within it. So, I mean, we're looking at 8 apples, 100 mushrooms, 80 ounces of sardines, 46 cups of kale, 80 ounces of green tea, 8 ounces of soy milk, 96 cups of kidney beans. Now, somebody might be going, well, wait, if we were intended to eat that quantity of food, wouldn't we normally be eating it, or wouldn't there be something happening that would make that normal? And that's something that I want to cover in another series that we do just on Kyani Sunrise. But I want to point out that there's a critical element that's happening within our environment, and that is that we are growing foods in soils that are minerally deficient. At the same time, we're also using synthetic fertilizers to make the foods look good. And I'm not even going into genetically modified foods at this point. So Kyani Sunrise uses whole foods that have been concentrated that give you the daily nutritional allotment that you're intended to have. And it's extremely powerful.
Michael, I was noticing too that this is the blueberry superfood drink, and I'm not seeing blueberries on there. Now, I've had this. It tastes like blueberries, or it has a great flavor. Is it just one of the many, because it says there's additional things in there, or is it just that it tastes like blueberries?
No, it actually, the base of it, in addition to, now, so what you're looking at right here is the equivalent. So the box to the right that has the different foods in it, those aren't the ingredients in Kyani Sunrise.
Okay, good. I wanted to clarify that then.
It is a blueberry-based drink from wild Alaskan blueberries, and we're going to cover this in greater detail because I want to focus an entire show on just Kyani Sunrise and why it's so important. It's such a critical element to have in your daily nutritional allotment. But no, the comparison is just saying if you wanted to match the levels of nutritional intake that Kyani Sunrise provides, you would have to eat these foods to the right of that pile.
I see. Okay. Now, I want to take us to the next one in an effort of time here, but also because, a lot of people might know that blueberry, some people know anyway, that there's some benefits there. Now, you've just threw in a whole bunch more of nutrients, but some people might notice, when I take, over-the-counter or any old vitamins, I feel better. So in those episodes in the future, we're going to dive in deep of what makes them different than the others out there. Now, blueberry, we kind of know some components maybe that are good for us, but what is this Nitro FX? Never heard of it. How is this going to help us? Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I have a feeling when we dive in deeper in the next episode about that, people are going to tune in.
Sure. I love Nitro FX. If you go to the gym, exercise, have cold hands and feet naturally, you're going to love Nitro FX or Nitro Extreme. I personally use Nitro Extreme. It has a few additional ingredients in it, but the base formula for both Nitro FX and Nitro Extreme, they are based upon noni plant concentrate. Now, this is not noni juice, and I've had a number of people contact me asking, well, why does the Nitro FX or Nitro Extreme cost, X amount of money? And I can go to the grocery store and I can buy noni juice for $3. I can get a liter of noni juice for $3. The reason why is because noni juice comes from berries, and it's probably, in most cases, simply pressed out or blended and comes from a freeze-dried concentrate. The Nitro FX and Nitro Extreme come from concentrates that are based upon the entire plant, and the actual quantity of the plant that goes into these little bottles of Kyani Nitro Extreme and Nitro FX, it's large, and we'll get into those details. But what people mostly notice with the Kyani Nitro Extreme and Nitro FX is an enhancement with circulation. And the first place that you're going to notice this is if you're an athlete, and this is not just intended for athletes or people that exercise. In fact, the people that have circulation and inflammation-related problems, health problems, they're probably going to notice different benefits. But an athlete at the gym or somebody that just likes to work out at the gym, if you take a serving of Nitro FX or Nitro Extreme, you're going to notice that your endurance goes up and your ability to I would call it your growth strength goes up also. You're going to have more strength and you're going to be able to exercise for longer. And coming from somebody that knows, be careful with that, because you can also overdo it. You can push yourself beyond your body's capacity. So that's something that, if you do use this, at the same time, take it easy at the gym. I'm not saying that the product is going to hurt you, but you could actually hurt yourself just by having that extra vigor or endurance or the ability to perform. So just be mindful with it the first time you try it.
Michael, is this the time that you hurt yourself at CrossFit? Is that
we can't say that. We can't say that word, but
all right. When you went and worked out really hard that day, it's like you can't feel the actual, like, how far you go. Kind of like when someone takes a painkiller and they don't know they're hurting themselves further. Is it kind of like that?
Yeah. It has to do with just peak performance, and the event that you're referring to is rhabdomyolysis, or rhabdo, and a nice day in the hospital overnight definitely showed me that there's that the stuff is powerful. So as the combination there was me going, I think I could do 90 pull-ups throughout the course of a workout, and my body saying, okay, we're here with you, we can do it. You got this Nitro FX and Nitro Extreme going through your blood, and just kind of forcing yourself to do it, but actually pushing my body beyond the limits that it was capable of at that time. So yeah, that was a serious and kind of a frightening experience. But that, to me, some people might go, well, I don't want something like that. No, you don't have to do that. You don't have to like go to the gym and participate in like high intensity training like that. So that's really something else. But that other word that you used back there, we'll just erase that.
Oh, good. I hope we can edit that out, because I don't even know if that's what it was. I just know you went hard that day, and I wanted to point out that it would be kind of like that painkiller effect. Now, I know I've taken that before. Just one day kind of thing, and it was sort of drops underneath your tongue. Am I right? Mm-hmm. It was just a few drops. Is that one? And you kind of feel it immediately. It's kind of instant, right?
Yeah, and in a few countries in Europe, the products are only sold. The way that they were able to enter these marketplaces was as a topical. So people are using those same exact drops that people put under their tongues to use them on issues like gout or arthritis and apply it topically to their skin. So and they're having good results through it. The way that, and I'm not going to go into the details too much with this right now, but the way that the Kyani Nitro FX and Nitro Extreme work and what makes it different, what it does is it enhances your body's production of nitric oxide. And people that are familiar with weightlifting supplements are probably familiar with the nitric oxide precursors that are out there. Most of them use the amino acid L-arginine to enhance nitric oxide production in your body. The reason why Kyani Nitro FX and Nitro Extreme are different is L-arginine, it takes anywhere between an hour to 3 or 4 hours, depending upon what's in your digestive system, to go through your intestines, essentially, and be processed. Now, out of the people that take it, I believe it's around 30% of the people that cannot process L-arginine in that form, and so it does nothing for them. The other downside with many of the supplements that use L-arginine is that they're all B12, B12. And somebody that likes to work out in the afternoon or the evening, and you're taking this supplement to increase your nitric oxide. I mean, when I say this supplement, I don't mean the Kyani Nitro FX or Nitro Extreme, but a different supplement. If you take that, then you're messing up your sleep cycle. And sleep and recovery is an important part in fitness. So what people will notice when they take Kyani Nitro FX or Nitro Extreme, few drops under the tongue, 20 drops, and there's no other ingredients in it. There's no caffeine, there's no B vitamins. It's just pure noni concentrate in the Nitro FX. And then the Nitro Extreme has some additional components, but they will not affect your sleep cycle, your circadian rhythm. So it's a very powerful product.
It is. I'm glad you could explain it, and of course we'll do another episode where we really dive in deep on the science side of it. I mean, you did just a little bit there, which I kind of wanted to understand why I felt I was doing it in the morning, doing sunset, and then but when I did those drops, you feel it, and it feels good. So we'll
Yeah.
definitely get into that.
You do it 3 times a day, and so it's a great way to keep your energy levels high. And the people that do this over the course of a month that have had circulation and inflammation related problems, in most cases they report some differences, some significant changes.
Well, another reason why I want to look into that a little deeper too is I noticed on the list of ailments that it can kind of help with would be digestive, which, you know, at least in America, that's definitely a common issue, and sexual dysfunction as well. You can kind of put together 2 and 2 of how it would help with that, but we'll definitely dive in deeper there as well. So let's talk about sunset. For me, that was where a personal experience comes in, because my daughter had problems sleeping, and you know, we tried everything just to regulate it, but something about that sunset, and you know, it's for much more than helping with sleep, but that's what kind of brought me into the line. So kind of fill us in on this sunset, and of course we'll talk more about it deeper in the next episode.
Sure. If I had to choose one product from Kyani, if somebody said, you know, look, you can have one but not the other two, I would choose Kyani Sunset. And the reason being, the pick me up at the gym was great. You know, it was good. But there's nothing like having a full night's worth of sleep and waking up early and feeling completely rested. And that, for me, was the selling part of Kyani. The Kyani Sunrise, I felt that almost instantly. It wasn't like drinking a cup of coffee where you get that caffeine rush, but it was a gradual, just high level of clarity and focus throughout the day. The Nitro products, Nitro FX, Nitro Extreme, and they're the same products, so you only take one of those Nitro products, and we'll cover that more in greater detail in another show. But the Kyani Sunset, it took about 3 or 4 nights for that to kick in, and the reason why is the omega-3s and the vitamin E, the tocotrienol form of vitamin E. I believe that they build up in your system and they bioaccumulate, and when you reach a certain level, all of a sudden, the omega-3 has this dampening or depressing effect on your nervous system, which calms you down. And while it's doing that, the vitamin E tocotrienols go to work reducing inflammation. And the major selling point for me was waking up one morning, and I had a full day ahead of me, and it started fairly early. And it was one of those days where you open your eyes, lying in bed, you open your eyes, and it's suddenly, you're kind of lying there in bliss. And then you suddenly have this panic attack where, oh no, it has to be late. It has to be like 11 or 12 because I feel so good. And, you know, I've got to be on the road at 7 a.m. I've got a meeting at 8. What's going on? And it was that moment where I just like sat up straight in bed and I looked at my clock, and it was like 6 a.m. and I wasn't going to get up until, you know, like 6:30 or so. And it was just one of those meetings or one of those mornings where I was like, wow, I haven't felt that good for so long. And that was about a little bit over a year ago when I first tried Kyani, and for me that was the major factor. And since then, Kyani has changed their formulation. Back then, it was just the vitamin E and the omega-3s in the formula. But what they did in the most recent release or update on their formulation is they made all of the oil-soluble or lipid-soluble elements. They put all of those into the Kyani Sunset, and then all of the ones that are water-based, they put those into the Kyani Sunrise. And the fats work together that way. They're better digested and assimilated. But you can see the list of things that it helps with: cardiovascular health, reduction in inflammation. Obviously, it helps with skin and hair, cholesterol levels, blood sugar levels, cognitive function, immune response. And the number one thing that I believe should be on this list, and this is an official list that I grabbed off of Kyani Science, but it's a massive sleep aid. It's a natural sleep aid.
Absolutely. And, you know, one thing I noticed too, I mentioned my daughter improved sleep. I noticed a difference in the hair and skin immediately. I mean, when I say immediately, I was taking it for a month because I wasn't thinking about that. I was actually doing it to regulate my own sleep as well. But I was getting compliments on my skin and hair, and again, you know, things like that. You can go get other products out there on the market that are specifically for that. I personally haven't seen one that does so much in one, but we will take a look at in our next episode. We'll take a deep dive. I'd like to start with Sunset and look about what makes all the components of it different or better than what else is out there, because there's a reason that I'm using that instead of anything else. So Michael, is there anything you want to add before we kind of tell people next steps, you know, if they want to learn more, or how they can get involved in the business side of things, and of course how it helps with self-improvement?
No, I think that we've laid a pretty solid foundation here, and I think that the next step for people is to get some more information. That is obviously the first place that I want you to begin. But if you've heard enough and you're a person that likes to try new things, then I highly recommend going out there and buying the Kyani Health Triangle. There'll be a link below this video that you can access it at. And Kyani offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you're not pleased with the formulation of the products, send it back, get your money back. Obviously, that is less the cost of shipping and handling, and usually shipping and handling within the U.S. is about $7 to $8, I believe. It depends on where you're going, obviously, but you know, it's ballpark around that price. So it's something you can take fairly low risk, and I say personally, if you're going to try it, give it a solid 3 weeks and make your decision after that. But it's something that, you know, I believe you'll notice the difference over the course of a week or two.
Okay, sounds great. And again, we'll be diving deeper into Sunset, but I also want to take a look at all of the components. So if anyone wants to find those, would they go to the www.emeryempower.com site? Is that where they would look further?
Yeah, exactly. This is a site that I've put together where we've got a lot of information about the Kyani supplements, and you can get on, you can sign up for a webinar there, learn some more about it, ask any questions that you might have, and also learn a little bit more about the business side. And I think that this is a powerful combination that plays into personal development. You know, this is all about the categories in your life that relate to health and wealth. And when you find a company with products like this, and you try those products and you realize that these actually work, then you start to see the business side of it, and you go, wow, this is something that makes sense, and this is something that other people who give it an honest try will notice the differences.
I know that I did, and I'm liking learning a little bit more as we do these. So thank you, Michael, for including me, and hopefully everyone also gets involved and sees the benefits that I have.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Sarah, and we'll be back next time with another show, and we'll dive into Kyani Sunset. It sounds like Sarah wants to focus on that one.
Yes, I can't wait. We'll see you all next time. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you.